Well, good evening, everybody. We're just delighted to have you on the call tonight, and we're looking forward to uh, what we're going to learn tonight. So, if you would please mute yourself, and because we don't want to interrupt this dynamic duo, and we look forward to it. So, Casey and Charlie, welcome, darlings, and get us all educated here.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Welcome everybody to our webinar tonight on unlocking metabolic wellness, understanding insulin resistance. And this is also in celebration of the Men's Health Awareness this month. So I am Karen Kroll, and this is my husband, Charlie. We both live in the low country of South Carolina, real close to Hilton Head Island, if you happen to know where that is. We have three adult children and one fur child. And Charlie is a registered nurse, and he got his degree in 1997. He primarily focuses his career by working in the operating room of the hospital. And I am an integrative nutrition health coach since 2018. And both of us became advocates for the holistic approach to health pretty much back when I became a health coach. We started learning about it together, and we both really saw the wisdom of it. So a year later, we both became Juice Plus partners when we learned about Juice Plus.
So today we're going to be talking about metabolic health, and that covers a whole host of things, but mainly what we're going to be talking about are blood sugar, cholesterol, and blood pressure, and how a healthy metabolism supports those things and reduces the risk of illness. And that matters because, like I say, poor metabolic health increases your risk for diseases and chronic conditions. These are the components to metabolic health, but I guess before we start into this, we should talk about sugar. Sugar as we know it, like table sugar, is comprised of two components. One of them is glucose and the other one is fructose. Glucose is the thing your body needs to power itself. Fructose, on the other hand, is something your body can store as a fat and use later for energy. Certain things will cause the glucose to go up in your bloodstream, and those conditions can relate to lack of insulin, or the your body becomes either insensitive to the insulin or resistant, or you have too much insulin, and that leads to this insulin resistance, type 2 diabetes. So some of the things that go along with that, elevated levels of cholesterol, triglycerides, and blood pressure changes, also the size of your body and the fat distribution. Generally, for women, a waist size of below 35 and men of below 40 is considered, safe. Above that, you're at kind of a risk. Insulin is produced in cells that are in the pancreas, and the pancreas is located near the small intestine and by your stomach, because the food that comes out of your stomach needs to be mixed with the insulin so that the sugar can be removed and absorbed by the small intestine. Also, the pancreas puts out pancreatic enzymes, which helps the food to break down and helps your body to absorb the important nutrients out of it. The insulin helps to regulate those levels of sugar. By sugar, I mean glucose. Insulin resistance. Well, insulin resistance is what happens when your body and the cells can't absorb the glucose. They can't absorb the glucose because you've had way too much insulin circulating in your system. That high level of insulin causes kind of a problem to occur at the cells. Best compared to like a lock that doesn't work right half the time. So sometimes it gets in, sometimes it doesn't. As it doesn't, you continue to have higher levels of circulating glucose in your blood, also higher levels of insulin, which higher levels of insulin drive you to eat. And so the cycle continually spirals downward over time. Blood sugar and insulin levels increase until a development of this type 2, what's considered type 2 diabetes, usually diagnosed through a hemoglobin A1C blood test. There are several factors that are involved in insulin resistance, and not one in particular is the one that sets it off, but one that we really can have a lot of control over is our diet. A poor diet high in sugar and refined carbs is where it all begins, probably. Things with high fructose corn syrup, and believe it or not, artificial sweeteners. Artificial sweeteners cause your body to react because they're sweet. They're sweet to your mouth. They cause your body to react and dump tons of insulin in to break it down, but there's nothing to take the insulin out. So as a result, you have these high levels of insulin circulating in your body. You want to eat more, you want to drink more, you want to do these things, and people get larger and larger, even though they're drinking diet Cokes and eating diet foods, simply because they don't have the sugar to bind up with the insulin. Genetics, sedentary lifestyle can play a part. Genetics, somebody in your family could have diabetes, or you have a family history of that, but that's just the pump's been primed. Nobody's pulled the handle yet or pulled the trigger. The things that you choose to do, like reduce your stress, reduce inflammation, get a good night's sleep, and reduce your body fat through diet and exercise, all contribute to reducing that risk. There are consequences to the insulin resistance. Over time, you can develop type 2 diabetes. That's where it becomes increasingly difficult for you to reduce the level of blood sugar. You become more and more resistant. And eventually, this could lead to, an insulin-dependent diabetes, which is, in the long run, harmful to a lot of parts of your body. Kidneys, heart, brain. In the short term, with metabolic syndrome, it's kind of a cluster of several things, but usually it's seen, with the elevated blood sugar, obesity, increased fats or lipids in your lipid profile, cardiovascular disease as a result of both the elevated blood sugar, which is inflammatory, and also the increased level of cholesterol that you have circulating around causes the blockages to develop. Fatty liver disease, well, that's where the other half of the sugar goes. And if you eat tons of sugar, you're developing a fatty liver as a result of that. High carbohydrate diets, people tend to develop a fattier liver. Diets that are rich in plants and other proteins other than sugars generally don't have that level of fatty liver disease. And the inflammation that's caused by high levels of circulation also have been linked to cognitive decline, because the inflammation goes all over your body, including your brain.
So the good news is that insulin resistance can be reversed, especially with lifestyle changes. And where we like to help people to start is always with the diet, a balanced diet that is made up of whole foods. It's a high protein diet, low refined carbs, moderate healthy fats. And then, of course, we would always suggest adding in our Juice Plus products, especially the essentials, which comes in the capsules, chewables, and the drink mix. and our complete or perform protein shakes for our macronutrients. So the essentials provide the micronutrients and the protein shakes provide the macronutrients. And then we always suggest, regular physical activity, especially aerobic and resistant training, which will improve insulin sensitivity, managing stress through meditation and deep breathing and something that I call mindset, which is our perception of our stress and our ability to cope with it. And then always getting good quality sleep. So the other thing that we could do is add in a natural support with certain supplements, but we do want to recommend that anybody considering that would reach out to a health provider and work with them on what would be best for their bodies, because everybody is so very individual and testing can help determine where there might be a deficiency. But specifically, omega-3 fatty acids have been known to lower triglycerides and reduce inflammation. Of course, we have our Omega Blend product that we would recommend for you. And then there's vitamin D, which a deficiency in vitamin D is associated with poor metabolic health. Berberine, it's actually an herbal compound that acts similarly to metformin. So that's been also very helpful for people. And magnesium is always good. It is used for blood sugar regulation as well. And red rice yeast, which is actually acts like a natural statin. So those would be like some of the things that we could do that would be the natural approach to improving our metabolic health.
And then then there are the medications. Now you see a number of these on television. You probably don't see any ads for metformin because it's generic. It's been out for a long, long time. It acts to help the cells become more receptive to the insulin. GLP-1 agonists, they're the latest, greatest thing you see on. They're the ones that people are injecting and losing tremendous amounts of weight by. They actually work by slowing down your digestion, creating a feeling of fullness because you're just not emptying your stomach as quickly. SGL2 inhibitors, those are like Farxiga and Jardiance. They help the body to capture the glucose that's circulating in your bloodstream by taking it out through your kidneys. And then you passing it out of your body as urine. So that's a way to lower the circulating blood sugar. And then we have statins. Now, I don't, right offhand, I can't think of any by name, but we all know that they are one of the first line things they try to prescribe. The doctors will, if you have elevated, levels of cholesterol. And then antihypertensives, probably out of all of them, they're the ones that are most significant. By the time you've reached the point where you need, blood pressure medicine or antihypertensives, you've had some of these things go on in your system as a result of, lifestyle and diet that have elevated your blood pressure. And it's important to keep that blood pressure within a normal limit to protect your kidneys, protect your brain from the effects of the high blood pressure.
Okay, so what I wanted to do here was talk about Juice Plus for a moment. We have a program. It's a healthy mind and body program called Reset. And it's a program that's all about building and maintaining daily healthy habits to benefit your body now and also in the future. And this program, we can offer it to you in like a 10-day program where it's kind of a jump start to the month, or we can offer a 25-day program to you so that you are being supported all throughout the month. So if you're interested in learning more about this program, then please reach out to the person who invited you to this call. But notice the products on the right. This is really essentially our whole product line. And all of our products are very helpful to support your body as you go through this program and learn to incorporate healthy habits and learn to replace the unhealthy habits. So I'm going to take you through each one of these. So our essentials, our Juice Plus essentials, if you look at the hand in the bottom right corner, you will see the 8 capsules. So there's 2 berry capsules, berry blends, and there are 2 fruit blends next to that, 2 vegetable blends, and 2 omega blends. And that's considered our essentials. They are the micronutrients that our bodies need to keep our bodies healthy and our metabolism working optimally. And with that, with the 6 capsules that you see there, the berry, the fruit, and the vegetable blend, you are actually getting 30 fruits and vegetables, or the nutrition from the 30 fruits and vegetables that you that are seen in a later slide. I'll show you what they are. But I just wanted to bring that to your attention that in the capsule form, you can have all of the micronutrients. With the chewables in the hand above, you are just getting the berry blend, the fruit blend, and the vegetable blend, not the omega blend in chewables. And then our drink mix, our superfood powder drink mix, which is our newest product, is also the berry blend, the fruit blend, and the vegetable blend. And then I'm not showing you the packages of our protein shakes, but what I wanted to show you here was a little bit of nutrition information that you get from taking in our protein shakes on a daily basis. So on the left side, I've provided what is my latest favorite recipe called Chocolate Berry Delight. And that recipe includes a scoop of the Perform protein shake, 1 scoop of the Dutch chocolate protein shake, 4 tablespoons of oats, 1 tablespoon of chia seeds, which are going to provide more protein and fiber and omega-3s into your body. The cacao powder, I just happen to love chocolate, so I throw more cacao powder in there. And then I add in there my superfood powder drink sleeve mix, which really just enhances more of the berry flavor again. But more importantly, on the right-hand side is the information from it that I was logging what I was eating. And I wanted to make sure that I was hitting the mark for my protein, my carbs, and my fat every day, and my fiber as well. And you can see now, if you're looking at the calories on this, it seems like it's a lot of calories. But down at the very bottom, you can see that women, if you are trying to improve your metabolic health, we actually need more calories per day than we probably have been thinking. Most people think, I know women think, oh, 1,200 calories or less. It's actually, we're doing our body a disservice when we are not feeding it enough food of the right kinds. So you can see women's range is from 1,600 to 2,200 calories per day. The 1,600 represents if you have a sedentary lifestyle. The 2,200 calories will represent if you have a highly active lifestyle. Same thing for men. The range is 2,000 to 3,000 calories per day. So this shake that provides 445 calories actually fits very well into a diet, whether it's a meal, or it could even be if some of your meals in the daytime were light, you could have an afternoon snack. And so you see that this one shake provides you with 35 grams of protein, 58 grams of carbohydrates, and those are the healthy carbs, and then 19 grams of fiber. Almost my whole entire requirement for the day is just in this one shake. And then sugar is low, it's 13 grams, and the fat is even lower at 7 grams. So it's really it's a good way to get in all the nutrition that we need for a low impact, if that makes sense. And then the last product that we use in the Reset program is our plant-based energy drink. It's called Luminate. And you can see at the top some of the ingredients in there. The energy comes from what is not listed here is our coffee berry. So the energy comes from the raw coffee bean that is inside of a berry fruit called coffee berry. And so with that, you get the benefits of having increased mental energy, You have more sharp focus and attention, enhanced mental clarity, improved working memory, heightened alertness, elevated mood, and reduced mental fatigue. And I can tell you it works. We know it by firsthand. And so the last piece that I want to share is that all of our products are supported by all of these clinical studies. There's about 48 clinical studies that have been um, that have been published over the last 20 years. And you can see at the top, I mean, it's a little bit small, but each blend has a blend of 10 fruits, and then there's 10 vegetables, and there's 10 berries blended so that you are getting a diversity of fruits and vegetables in your diet. And that helps to improve your gut health and all kinds of things in the body. So, but take notice that we are talking about metabolic health. And down towards the bottom, about the fourth one up from the bottom, it does support metabolic health. It reduces inflammation and it provides antioxidant protection. So there's a lot that Juice Plus can do for the body that helps to support our metabolic health.
There's some other therapies and integrated treatments that can be used to help get your system back in order. As we get older, things change. In the case of men, sometimes their get up and go is got up and went. When they go to the doctor, they have a talk with him. Simple blood tests can determine whether or not they have low testosterone and would require maybe some type of therapy to get that back in line. Thyroid is the master gland. It controls just about all the endocrine system in your body. A thyroid that's functioning properly lends itself well to helping other systems like the testosterone and your cholesterol, the system that does that, as well as blood sugar come in alignment. Micronutrient testing, that can be done when you go to your doctor. They can take blood in a blood draw. They can test for things like magnesium and zinc and chromium, all which help with the processing of glucose in your body and help to make you less resistant to the insulin. If there's a problem with eating, and by that I mean, a couple of scoops of ice cream is okay, but a couple of containers a night are not, and you have this habit or you're addicted to something, sometimes cognitive behavioral therapy is a way to find the answer to that. And then in addition, once a plan is developed, by your therapist, a health coach, kind of like Karen, could act as an accountability partner to keep you in line with what that therapist is asking. CPAP used to be you had to go to a center to be tested overnight. Now you can do it right in the comfort of your own home over a couple of nights and send the information in. The doctor gets the results and determines whether you need one or not. A good night's sleep goes a long way to getting your system in line. I use a CPAP, and before I started, I was about 10 to 15 pounds heavier. My doctor put me on that, and it was amazing. I started sleeping better, and my system actually improved. The last is the continuous glucose monitor. They were prescribed. They are still prescribed by doctors. Stelo is a brand that can be acquired on Amazon, I think you said.
No, actually on the Dexcom website.
Yeah, Dexcom website, and that's a continuous glucose monitor. So that you mount on your arm or stomach or wherever you would choose to place that, and that over the course of, I think it's up to 3 weeks, they can stay on your body, and they give you an idea of how your body is utilizing the glucose you take in, and
yeah. And so what we also wanted to make a point to say is that you don't have to have a prescription to be able to purchase that particular brand, which is what we did because we just wanted to play around and see, and just see what food was doing when we ate it. And so this is actually a snapshot of one day out of my 2-week period. And you can see that my target range is from 70 to 125. Now, a standard target range would be 70 to 140 for non-diabetic people. And I just happened to be talking to a dietitian who I just asked, is there an optimal range? And that's what she gave me, the 70 to 125. So playing around, I wanted to see how I did. And you can see, from 12 a.m. to pretty much 9 a.m., which is, I won't say my sleeping hours, but most of it's my sleeping hours. I get up around 7 and I don't eat anything until maybe 10:30 or 11 o'clock. And you can see I stayed right within that range. And then around, it looks like 11:30, I probably had breakfast or lunch, and it went up slightly, which is normal. Like if my range was at 140, I truly would be within that green line. So really it's very normal, and it's a gentle rise, if you can see that. It's not a very like sharp spike. And then it came down a little bit, obviously, after lunch. And then before dinner, it was back down to 125. And then, I had dinner and it went up again real slightly. So that's just a visual of how a day could look if you were paying attention to the foods that you're eating. So this particular screenshot is my 2-week period, and this is showing you my glucose, where it is within my range over a 2-week period. So you can see off to the right, my average glucose is 108 milligrams per deciliter, which that's great. It's pretty much always in the middle of my range, my 70 to 125 range. On the left-hand side, the bottom circle, you can see that I never really fell below my range, which is good. I didn't have any crashes, and that's a good thing. 89% of the time I stayed within range. 11% of the time I went out of range. And again, it's a matter of it's how high the spike will, go up and then drop, but also how often it happens. So you can see that 11% of the time I stayed within my goal. My goal was to be below 25% of the time of that out of range. So that actually showed me that overall I'm doing very well. And that this was a great exercise for me and for us. We wanted to see which foods affected us the most. We wanted to see if it was the same foods. And we also wanted to learn what we could do differently. So what we learned out of this was that we needed to eat what they called order eating. So you want to eat your protein first, you want to eat your healthy fats first, and then you can have your healthy carbs, of course, but you want to save your starchy carbs for last, because then your blood sugar will not spike as rapidly. Your sugar is absorbing much slowly into the blood system. And the other thing that I've always known this, but it reminded me, never have like fruit just by itself. Make sure that you always have a healthy fat or protein and fiber along with your simple carbs. So you always want to keep everything in balance so that you try to minimize how the sugar is being taken up into the blood. And that's another reason for us to really plug our Juice Plus, especially our protein shakes, because they are low glycemic products, which is, yes, they are going to have some sugar in them, but the protein and the fiber and the fats are going to help the blood sugar to absorb more slowly, making it a low glycemic product.
Yeah, that was the other thing I wanted to say
Oh,
about
yes.
that was that over the course of the 2 or 3 weeks that we were doing that, we started off at one level with the circulating blood sugar, but trying to keep it within those parameters that have been set there by changing our diet. We noticed that the average blood sugar was decreasing over that period of time. So I started about 118, 117, something like that. It was about 108 after we stopped. And Karen probably had similar results, but it was just because, we were keeping it between those lines. Now, the problem is that we don't know exactly what we're eating all the time when we're eating it. And sugar is so ubiquitous to our diet that we have to be very careful, and certain things you wouldn't think would have sugar in them can really spike it up, or eating things in a certain order, like Karen was saying. So that device really was a good way to help retrain how you eat, if nothing else. In summary, I'd say that your metabolic health is crucial to your body's overall wellness, that certain conditions like insulin resistance can be reversed if you're caught early. And lifestyle changes significantly affect the outcomes. There's pills for a lot of things, but a lot of the work has to come from change. And one of the things that helps make that change possible, or helps with you making that change, is the Juice Plus products. Because, like as Karen was saying, they're lower glycemic, they work in, and there's a wealth of information about how they affect your health in a positive manner.
Absolutely. All right, so that is actually the end of our webinar. Does anybody have any questions or comments?
We're running a little bit late, so let's limit it to 2 questions, and anyone who needs to get off, please do. Questions? Make sure you're unmuted or hold down your space bar.
Real quick, I got a question. Yeah, you guys made use of the CGM really well. That information that you guys gathered, that Dexcom lasts for 10, 14 days, something like that?
I think it's 14. Charlie thinks it's 3 weeks, but I'd have to go look. I think it's 2 weeks.
Did you guys do
it twice?
Did you guys do it the first 14 days where you just ate normally?
So that, yes, we did actually, well, I don't want to say normally. I mean, we ate however we wanted to eat, I guess, for that period, because I wanted to see what foods actually did spike. And after I started seeing that, that's when I started modifying things and playing around with the order of the food and that kind of, and then I watched everything start to come down.
Yeah, we've been thinking about paying for the Dexcom for somebody to use it, and the first 7 days they eat normally, and the next 7 days they do the superfood, just to see, and I think that would be an interesting non-scientific study.
Yeah. And we went on vacation during that time too. And I mean, we weren't perfect, but that's what we wanted to see. That's just life.
Yes.
Okay, one more question, anybody? No?
Just a very, very, very briefly.
Patricia?
The difference between the glucose and the fructose, you were saying, are things like honey and stevia, are they really better sugars, or are they, or is sugar? Where do we draw the lines between the glucose, which it sounds like we need, and the fructose you said gets stored as fat?
Well, I think that fructose is what makes us eat things that are sweet. And I think that back in the olden times, when we ate things that were seasonal, or we were out hunter-gatherers, that we would use those things that came available to us to put on fat to survive, like winters and things like that, that had the fructose, because they're converted into fat, can be used later. But you wouldn't want to just generally go along and pick something up and eat it unless it tasted good. So the drive is instinctual with us to eat sweet things. But the problem is that now sugar has become so ubiquitous to our diet that we don't even know that we're eating it. And that people that manufacture food to have a sweet point, so that they know just how much to put it in to keep you eating more. So like we were talking about with the Dexcom, looking at the things that we thought maybe be lower actually had a negative effect on our body, so stevia, not so bad.
It's low glycemic.
Honey, not so bad. It's going to get broken down. It's natural. But the other ones, the other artificial sweeteners, no bueno.
No. Thank you.
Honey and maple syrup in moderation, as they say. But stevia is a low glycemic, sugar. So it's much better to have that. It's plant-based.
I just wanted to throw out there one more thank you, you guys. You guys really offer deep dives into specific niche areas that we all want to know more about or need to know more about, even if we don't realize we need to know more about it. So thank you for
You're
such an
welcome.
in-depth look at a problem that affects the vast majority of the population. Everybody has to worry about their metabolic health, their glycemic, their glucose management. Everybody.
Yeah.
Thank you. Excellent presentation. Really
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
This was wonderful.
Well done. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next week, next Monday night, Dr. Paul Williams is going to be speaking. For those of you who aren't sure who he is, he was the head of medicine for Juice Plus for years until he finally said, I got to get out and see people again. So he was an ER doctor here in the Atlanta area and is just a genius medically. And he's going to be talking about why he takes Juice Plus, why he believes in Juice Plus, and why he hopes we will take it and believe in it and understand it the way he does. So please, I'm making announcements in our networking groups, and so is Bill, to just have people come and hear him without feeling like they're being pressured or they have to do anything. So just let us know, and you can make sure that we'll get people the information they need to be on the call, and it'll be a no pressure situation. So thank you very much for being on tonight. We just really appreciate it. Good night, everybody.
Thank
Take care.
you.
Good night.